This is Nightline. Tonight, the shocking murder charge in the unsolved killing of a Pennsylvania couple.
This is a child who killed her parents, who walked into her childhood home, took her mother to her childhood playroom, and executed her.
Their daughter, once a scholar and NASA intern, joining a cult-like group with extremist beliefs associated with several murders.
This is not just some ragtag group. They're very intellectual, many from wealthy backgrounds.
The crucial piece of evidence that helped crack the case.
You are very clearly able to hear someone yell, "Mom!"
And why investigators don't believe she acted alone. Plus, how new Easter eggs suggest that Taylor Swift's love story might include a New York City wedding over 4th of July weekend.
Baby, just say yes.
What it would take to transform the rumored legendary venue.
We're imagining yards and yards and yards of draping.
And the latest on Lionel Richie's onstage health scare. We'll tell you when the All Night Long singer is expected to perform again. Plus, Toy Story Challenge.
Guys, Andy's home! Andy's home!
How fans are recreating one of the franchise's favorite scenes. From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, murder charges in the killing of a Pennsylvania couple. Authorities pointing the finger at their own daughter, Michelle Zico, once full of promise and ambition before joining a cult-like group, the so-called Zizians, who police now say have left a trail of blood across multiple states. The one word that helped crack the case.
The evidence will speak loudly and decisively for us, as it will for Rita and Rick. And now is the time for the facts and the truth to be known.
For 3 long years, Roseanne Zico waited for answers in the gruesome murders of her brother Richard and sister-in-law Rita.
There were countless days of darkness and despair, days when it was difficult, almost impossible, to hold on to the belief and hope and expectation that this day would eventually arrive.
Authorities charged the couple's own daughter, Michelle Zico, in one of the most notable cold cases in Pennsylvania, adding they don't believe the 33-year-old acted alone.
It's a horrible crime, but it's also one that it goes beyond comprehension in certain respects. This is a child who killed her parents, who walked into her childhood home, took her mother to her childhood playroom, and executed her.
Michelle charged with numerous crimes, including criminal homicide, first-degree murder, third-degree murder, and conspiracy. District Attorney Tanner Rouse citing an allegedly incriminating list found on Michelle's phone.
A list of things that, quote, This included not getting rid of the shell casings that were found at the scene. This included not getting rid of the ammunition that was later recovered from her Vermont home that matched the ammunition found at the scene, the shell casings found at the scene.
Multiple sources familiar with the investigation telling ABC News that they are examining several possible motives, including an estate worth several $1 million.
There was an inheritance that she would get if her parents had died, and that may have been the motive.
Sources also saying Michelle may have murdered her mother in a rage and accidentally killed her father. The horrific crimes only the tip of the iceberg. Investigators say Michelle is affiliated with a dangerous and convoluted group that some have called the Zizians.
This is a group of highly intelligent people focused on AI, vegan, many of them transgender, and according to the authorities, increasingly violent.
Witnesses say the group sometimes walk around naked, other times wrapped in black robes, wearing gas masks, wielding samurai swords. The group tied to violent crimes, spanning coast to coast.
This is a bizarre case with tentacles in different states and people getting killed in different places.
From a stabbing death in Northern California.
Stabbing, single victim.
We still have a pulse on him.
To a fatal shootout in Vermont.
The FBI investigating the deadly shooting of a Border Patrol agent in Coventry, Vermont.
Engaged police in a hail of gunfire along Interstate 91.
To weapons and drug charges in Maryland.
And they're violating our speedy trial rights.
Michelle now linked to 3 of 4 murders.
Michelle seems to pop up in a lot of these cases. And now the challenge for authorities is trying to tie it together as best they can.
we are clearly talking about someone that has gone down an unimaginably dark road and has led to a tragedy that just defies any sort of description.
It was just before midnight on New Year's Eve, 2022.
Quiet neighborhood in Delaware County has been turned upside down tonight.
Richard and Rita were killed in Michelle's childhood room with toys and dolls and other items around. There was no forced entry. There was no murder weapon found.
The house was huge. There were Christmas lights still up, and this is the kind of community where the neighbors really know each other, and it's very rare to have crime.
Rita and Richard Zyko were a well-liked couple in the area.
He was always outside cutting his grass or cleaning the leaves, or they always had impeccable Christmas lights every single year.
Their only child, Michelle, was bright. Seen here in her LinkedIn profile, she got her master's at Temple University, interned at NASA, worked in research at Children's Hospital in Philly. In a student newspaper, she's quoted as saying, "I want to help save people for my career." But authorities say by 2022, Michelle was estranged from her parents. The criminal complaint showing texts in January from Michelle to her father, writing that her mother, quote, spends the time insulting a life she knows nothing about and continually assumes the worst about me.
On New Year's Eve of 2022, which happens to be Michelle Zyko's birthday, her mother, Rita Zyko, reached out and explained that she was sorry for the rift that had grown between them. That text went unanswered.
Several hours later, authorities say Rita and Richard were killed.
They started an investigation. They came across a Ring camera from across the street. And what the Ring camera showed, it showed a car pulling up, two figures getting out of the car and walking towards the front door of the house. Someone comes to the door of the house and you hear screams.
More details now revealed.
That audio was able to be cleaned up. With that audio enhanced, you are very clearly able to hear someone yell, "Mom," as they stand at the front door of Richard and Rita Zyko's home. They have only one child. That's Michelle Zyko.
Authorities say that around the time of her parents' murders, Michelle was living in Vermont with a person named Jack Lasota, who they identify as Ziz, a transgender woman believed to be the leader of the so-called Zizians.
So Jack Lasota is from Alaska, went to college, studied computer science, seems to have been a really promising young person. She interned at NASA.
One of the ideas that Ziz promulgated, and which some of the other so-called Zizians share, is this idea that humanity or the world can only be saved by people who are naturally good, but have learned to act evil, to act like sociopaths, in order to do good.
In a blog which appears to be written by Lasota, she writes that she struggled with her identity. "I thought I was the only one who knew puberty was evil. Puberty was death."
The funny thing about Ziz's influence is that she attracted a lot of the people who became affiliated with the Zizians seem to have come to the group through her writing. She's apparently a very intense but charismatic kind of person.
To me, it's sort of a classic story of vulnerable people being taken advantage of or being persuaded to believe in fringy ideas because of their need for a community.
Jack Ziz Lasota was actually in Pennsylvania in January of 2023 with Michelle Zyko, who came down for her parents' funeral.
In Pennsylvania, law enforcement gets a search warrant to search Michelle's hotel room.
State police took Michelle into custody for questioning. They let her go. They asked her to stay in the lobby while they got her car. She just disappeared and she left the car behind. Inside the car, police discovered $40,000. After that point, police could no longer get in touch with her.
But they did end up getting alerted that there was someone else in one of the nearby rooms. So they went and knocked on the door, and that's where they found Daniel Blank and Ziz Lasota.
And that's when they discovered a gun. Police said Jack Lasota was not cooperative whatsoever in the homicide investigation. Jack was actually on the ground. Police tried to take a mugshot. Jack wouldn't even open her eyes. So you see police holding Jack's head up as Jack keeps her eyes closed.
At the time, Michelle was named a person of interest in her parents' deaths, but the three of them disappeared. Until last year when they were arrested in Maryland.
So in 2025, a guy in Maryland sees a bunch of trucks parked on his property, and he calls police. And they find Michelle and Ziz and Daniel Blank there with ammo and dressed in black. According to the authorities, they also found weapons, handguns at the scene as well.
All three remain behind bars and pled not guilty. Michelle and Ziz are facing misdemeanor trespassing and obstruction charges and felony weapons charges.
Michelle had already been charged for supplying a weapon that was used to kill a Border Patrol agent.
In an open letter last year, Michelle wrote that the group are just friends, adding, "I doubt the FBI care that my friends and I aren't a murder cult." Michelle also added, "I didn't murder my parents." Requests for comment have not yet been answered.
I think it's fair to say that there is no smoking gun here, so to speak. The authorities are going to hope that they can piece this together like a puzzle and convince jurors that that's proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
No one else has been arrested in the Zykos deaths, but authorities say Michelle did not act alone.
At this time, we do not know who her co-conspirators were, but we are very certain that Michelle Zyko was in the home and arranged for the death of her parents.
Jack Lasota and Daniel Blank are repeatedly named in the court documents.
The authorities are convinced that this was a group and that they were working together. But they haven't been charged because you got to be able to prove it. The authorities would love to get one of them to turn on the rest to help them piece this all together. They haven't gotten that yet.
And for much more on this story, watch Impact by Nightline, Control, Alt, Kill, now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. When we come back, New York City is buzzing over a possible T-Swift-Travis Kelce wedding July 4th weekend, rumored to be at the city's most famous venue. How the superstar couple might be transforming the blank space of Madison Square Garden. Welcome back. With Swifties and many of the rest of us in full wedding watch mode, rumors abound of the Madison Square Garden event, leading to that big question: how do you transform New York City's biggest arena into a wedding venue? Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
Sparks are flying ahead of what could be the wedding of the decade. While Taylor and Travis are remaining mum on any and all potential wedding details, including location or date, so is an event company that has filed a permit to close the street outside New York's Madison Square Garden around the weekend of July 4th for an event for up to 1,000 people, many thinking that could be the venue for the big day. When I walk in the room, I can still make the whole place shimmer. So if it is at the Garden, how could it be transformed from a space known for events like basketball games and concerts to instead shimmer for a wedding?
It's Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Anything is possible. We're imagining plenty of yards and yards and yards of draping. Additionally, of course, florals will be involved. So knowing that these enhancements of decor, florals, raw builds, all of this will be happening within that space. It's going to be transformed entirely.
It wouldn't be the first wedding at the Garden. In 1974, rock star Sylvester Stewart from Sly and the Family Stone wed model and actress Kathy Silva on stage in front of 23,000 people. The wedding, an opening act of sorts ahead of his band's concert that night. One thing is for sure, the couple knows how to put on a show. Kelce on the field, Swift performing for 10 million people during her Eras tour. Going into detail on her Disney Plus docuseries, The End of an Era.
I know that when I say to them, I want to perform Florida with Florence, and I really want to do it with full production. I know that it's some kind of creative brainstorming sessions, but I know it's doable because all the dancers, the choreographers, the production designers, the crew, the entire band, every person we have is the best one doing it in the entire industry.
Our thanks to Mary. We don't know for certain whether that will indeed be the site of the pair's nuptials, but experts say renting out the garden, plus closing nearby streets and handling permits, could cost at least 7 figures. We turn now to Lionel Richie. The 77-year-old star was about an hour into his tour opener, performing Dancing on the Ceiling, when he had to take a pause. Soon after, he called it quits. Here's ABC's Lara Spencer.
Fans of music legend Lionel Richie growing concerned for his health after he abruptly ended the opening night of his tour in Minnesota. Videos online capturing Richie performing about an hour into his set list when he was seen taking breaks to sit down. Moments later, Richie telling the audience he felt dizzy.
What I have learned about my years of being in the business, when you are feeling dizzy, sit your ass down.
The 77-year-old went on to perform another song before an impromptu intermission. And shortly after that, his saxophonist told the crowd Richie was unable to continue.
I thought it was great for him to be fully transparent with the audience, which is what he was doing all night. Then, yeah, it was a light bulb moment, though, because then you were like, oh, he is having a hard time.
Overnight, United Center in Chicago posting that Richie will be postponing his next 2 shows in Chicago and Columbus under the advisement of doctors. The 4-time Grammy winner, famous for hits like All Night Long and Dancing on the Ceiling. Posting these photos to social media from Wednesday's sound check. All smiles ahead of the show. Richie telling our Robin Roberts last year about the high-energy atmosphere he aims to create during his performances.
Oh, you thought you were going to sit down during my concert? Oh, no, everybody up. And it becomes now an orchestration of kind of taking over how I want them, the audience, to react. And then once they get to the 3rd song, they know what to do from then on.
Our thanks to Lara. Richie is postponing his next 2 shows, but says he'll be back on stage Tuesday in Pittsburgh. We all wish him a speedy recovery. When we come back, the Toy Story Challenge, taking social media by storm. Why fans can't seem to get enough. And finally tonight, fans seem to be dropping like flies for the Toy Story Challenge. It's tonight's Nightline.
Guys, Andy's home!
Inspired by those big Andy's coming moments in the beloved film,
Andy's coming, everybody! Back to your places, hurry!
Toy Story Uber fans posting their own scenes.
Andy's coming.
You got a friend in me.
With adults and kids of all ages joining in the fun.
Andy's coming.
Rough ahead.
Andy's coming. Woo.
And some taking it to the extreme.
You got a friend in me.
Brilliant. That's Nightline. Thanks for staying up with us. Good night, America.